And Lord David Cameron will be hoping that Donald Trump has a short memory after flying into the US to meet the former president at his Florida bolt hole. The Foreign Sec was due for talks with Trump at Mar-a-Lago to whip up support for further Ukraine funding, but the meeting, well, it was probably an awkward one, wasn't it, for good old Dave, who once called Donald divisive, stupid and wrong when he was Prime Minister in 2016. Later in his memoirs, Cameron accused the, well, notoriously quite thin-skinned Trump in some respects of being protectionist, xenophobic and misogynistic. Not things that really fade away with time, are they, those allegations? The last time David Cameron was accused of lecturing the US on Ukraine funding, which Trump's Republican Party is currently blocking, fierce President Trump ally and Republican lawmaker Marjorie Taylor Greene had this to say.
I really don't care what David Cameron has to say. I think that's rude name-calling, and I don't appreciate that type of language. And David Cameron needs to worry about his own country, and frankly, he can kiss my...
Next time, say what you really think. Now, Nigel, what does Donald Trump really think of David Cameron?
Oh, I wish I'd been there. I wish I'd been there at dinner on the terrace at Mar-a-Lago to see this massive slice of humble pie that David Cameron had to eat. And Trump, of course, won't forget the words. But you know what? He's bigger than that. He recognises that the relationship with the UK, the future of NATO, he knows these things matter and matter hugely. What I did like, though, from the resume that was put out from Mar-a-Lago was the first thing on the agenda was Brexit. I mean, that would have been the most delicious conversation. David, you got Obama to intervene. Obama's your mate. I mean, that would have been absolutely wonderful.
Nigel, just on that, as if by magic, we do have the infamous moment with Obama.
UK-US trade agreement, but it's not going to happen anytime soon because our focus is in negotiating with a big bloc, the European Union, to get a trade agreement done. And UK is going to be in the back of the queue.
Now, I think you were actually quite grateful to Obama for saying that, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was the globalists together, wasn't it? The globalists together telling us what to do. And I think Obama helped the Brexit campaign enormously. But so that was on the agenda, Brexit. That conversation would have been delightful. Then on, of course, to NATO, where Cameron would have said, oh, but you've been so rude about the NATO members. Trump would say, hey, we're not paying the whole bill. You guys got to chip in. And it would have been, Trump would have enjoyed himself enormously. I'd love to be at the next table just watching the whole thing.
I suppose, do you think Donald Trump is going to get on better with David Cameron or David Lammy?
It's a very good question, actually. I mean, what's the difference? I mean, there isn't much difference between them really at all. Other than Lammy's a bit more fun.
You think David, this is the scoop here, David Lammy's more fun than David Cameron, is he?
Good God, yes. I mean, you might disagree with David Lammy's opinions, but he's got a big personality. He laughs a lot, likes to drink. He's all right, I mean, in that sense, Trump will always put international issues and what matters ahead of any personal insults that have been thrown at him. Lammy's been rude about it. Cameron's been rude about it. But nobody can deny our relationship with the USA is vital in every single way.
Yeah, I mean, the irony that potentially if Trump does wander back into the White House, we would have a president of the United States there that cares deeply about Great Britain at exactly the moment when we might be about to get a Labour government and, who've slagged him off in the past as well. I mean, there is a missed opportunity there, I think, somewhat. But elsewhere, Nigel, GBNews has revealed escalating migrant violence on the beaches of France. So almost 5,000 small boat migrants have now crossed the channel so far this year. What you will be looking at if you're watching us on television, if you're listening to us on radio, I'll talk you through it, is a load of migrants kicking off big time on a beach at Dunkirk. So I am actually going to be speaking to a Dunkirk councillor at 10:20 p.m. who will explain the grim scenes taking place on the beaches. People are getting stabbed, people are throwing rocks and frankly goodness knows what else. They're attacking each other, they're attacking the French police, and actually they're on the way over here, aren't they, Nigel? Are you concerned about the people that we might be importing here?
I've been concerned since March 2020, when I went out into the channel and blew the whistle on this and said to mainstream media, a year before GBNews even existed, why are you guys not covering this? There's a big sign on the White Cliffs of Dover saying everyone welcome. Yeah, it's rocks, it's knives, but it's guns as well. The traffickers now carry guns. The French police now carry guns. We're very, very close to a major escalation in this crisis. And all the while, the UK reported.
Yeah, and I think, what do you put down to this increased use of violence there on the beaches?
Money, money, money. Think what's involved in this. You know, these trafficking gangs, on a good week in the summer, making $2.5 to $3 million every single. There is vast money involved. Where there's vast illicit money involved, there will always be violence, always be threats, always be stabbings, and frankly, always be murders. And this is getting worse, and it's getting worse very, very quickly. And the French don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. And as the good weather comes, which it will, I know that seems impossible at the moment, as it will, tens of thousands will cross the channel. And with it will completely sink Sunak's chance of even hanging on to a couple of hundred Tory seats.
And just on that, because we saw President Kagame there of Rwanda wandering into Downing Street earlier today, Rishi Sunak doing his best to tell us that everything's absolutely fine, and both of them are desperately keen to get flights taking off. On the same day, it was revealed that Rwanda has been selling off some of the migrant housing because, shock horror, it appears that there is one leader there who's willing to put his own nationals first and give them some housing of their own. That, unfortunately, being the president of Rwanda and not our own. What do you make of that latest escalation? Do you think now, actually, Rwanda is laughing at us?
Well, I mean, Rwanda had taken a couple of £100 million without having to take a single person. I mean, what a great trade for Rwanda. Trade of the century for Rwanda. You know, treat the British government as mugs, take all their money, understand that they're undermined by the ECHR, and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, I mean, there was this kind of trope, wasn't there, about have we been conned by the Rwandans? But Andrew, we just conned ourselves. I mean, it was there for us. We could have done it. We conned ourselves.
We are led by liars and idiots. That's all I can do. This was never, ever going to work. From the moment Boris Johnson at Lyd Airport announced this plan, I said, and the next day, the Daily Mail, front page, isn't it wonderful? The Tories are going to stop all this. It was obvious from day one that all the while you're part of the ECHR, put into British law through the Human Rights Act, this could never happen. I'll add to that, if I may, Patrick, very quickly, that a judgment this morning, brought by some Swiss pensioners, ECHR are now saying that all member states must adhere to net zero policies. So we couldn't even vote for a government that wanted to reindustrialise Britain. It just says we must leave ECHR. I tell you what, wouldn't it be fun to have a referendum on ECHR membership? I'm quite looking forward to that.
Well, do you think seriously this is going to be a possibility? Just very finally, Nigel, because I know you've been with us for a little while now, so thank you. But do you think that is seriously something that Rishi Sunak would have the mettle to do? I mean, surely not.
He might do it to try and save his own skin, but it's too late. It's too late because everyone knows he's lost the election already and Labour went off for it. It doesn't matter what Rishi does. I mean, look, he's so weak that William Ragg has had to sack himself because Rishi didn't have the guts to do it.
Well, he was courageous. He was courageous 2 days ago. He was incredibly courageous for, obscene things.
Don't even start me on the William Ragg scandal. I was the first person publicly on Friday to say, this is a total disgrace. What he's done is reprehensible. And within 2 hours of me saying it, Jeremy Hunt called him courageous. This lot are going into the electoral bin. It's where they deserve to be.
By the way, if Jeremy Hunt thinks that's courageous, then I shudder to think of what he turns his nose up at. Nigel, thank you very, very much. That's Nigel Farage there.